Chael?
Oh,
What the hell is going on?
so look who comes crawling back.
Yep.
Look who comes crawling back, scratching at my door like a horny tomcat, hoping for a pat on the head and a little bit of catnip. If it isn't my old friend Drake, I got to do media all day. I have a very important message. We'll get to that in a minute. I was
Okay.
hoping you could help me with it.
All
I got to
right.
do media all day. And I tell the great Chris of the great PR team, the unforeseen heroes at the UFC, book Drake last. And he says, why? And I said, because he's my actual only friend, and I would like to catch up with him. I don't want to short on time.
Yes.
And now here I am looking like a fool. Chris finally comes back to me and goes, here, are you sure you really know Drake? Like he's acting like he doesn't even know who you are.
Wow.
You made me look like a fool, Riggs.
Chael, you big leagued me yesterday. You big leagued me yesterday 2 times in a row, man. Come on.
Okay. That was a scumbag move. That was a scumbag move. That is not my style. I'm riding around with Joel. The phone goes dead. It doesn't give me I had to get a new phone because Gilbert Burns put my number out on the internet. So the new phone, it doesn't give you like you used to get a 10% warning. It doesn't give me anything. So the phone goes dead. Then I'm in Joel's car that when we plug it in, it turns out his dog ate through the charger, and I'm 40 minutes from home. Like I'm out on a run trying to buy illegal substances for future sporting events. It wasn't a situation where I could just connect this thing. Elon Musk all about, I got Starlink, I brought internet to the world. Well, bring a little mobile service to Chael's phone, Elon.
Yes.
How about that?
Wow, quite an elaborate story just to say you don't want to talk to me, man. I mean,
no, I do want to talk. Hey, I need some help. I need some help today. Can I bring it up right now?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. At some point in this interview, like just bring it up like it's natural, like we didn't talk about that.
Okay.
Daniel, DC. It stands for Daniel Cormier.
Yep.
And I'm doing this Ultimate Fighter with him, and nobody knows what a DC is or who he is. And it's rude. This guy was a fighter, and he was good too. He'd take people he was good with the wrestling. This guy beat Pat Cummings one time.
Yeah,
This guy, he deserves a little respect. And so I even texted to a guy, and I said, hey, read this back to me. And he's like, Daniel Cormier. And it's like, it's pronounced Cormier. There's just no A in it. Just say the word. Just say Cormier at some point, please. All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. We can start. Okay.
We can start. All right. You want to be sideways, Chael? You're sideways on my screen, just so you know.
I turned sideways for you.
Yeah.
Look how uncomfortable I am. Can you see this? I'm leaning over. I'm not even sitting in it. I'm leaning in it. I did that all for you.
Okay, I didn't know.
You want to be vertical all of a sudden. Look at this. Now I can sit down look at this. Now I can sit down
there we go.
I was on my knees on the floor.
You couldn't even put yourself in the studio for me, man. I am just all sorts of offended today.
I was in the studio on time. I left the studio because you didn't pick up the call. I thought the call was off for the day. That's the true story.
Okay. All right, man.
There's a version of truth within that story.
All right, I'll accept it. I'll take that. All right, we're all clear. It's funny though, man. It's kind of weird. This is our first time doing an interview over the internet, man. We've always been in person, so it feels kind of weird.
Well, I knew where I ranked on your list of cronies when you stopped coming out and seeing me in person.
I moved. I'll be back in February. I'll come say hi.
Well, moved, evicted.
Either one.
Whatever they call it. It's just words. Hey, Drake, I am going to do the Ultimate Fighter.
Yes.
And I'm going to do that with before mentioned Daniel Cormier. I guess there was some confusion, and I got to plead ignorance on this, but when I got asked, I thought what they were asking was they wanted to come in and they wanted me to coach Daniel Cormier. I thought I would boost him and I was going to mentor, like a big brother, like I put him in a headlock and give him a noogie, like wedgie every now and then, big brother type stuff. When I got there and they handed him a jersey with a different color than mine, I thought Daniel's back fighting. I thought he's going into the house. This is a great story. They did a comeback before where they put these other relics. They put these other relics in, but it led to one of the greatest upsets in the history of our sport. Of course, I'm talking about when Sarah got over on GSP.
Yep.
It led to something really special. And so I assumed they were going to do that with Daniel. And I asked him, what's it going to be like to be in the house? What's it going to be like to be from your wife for so long? Because you can't make phone calls. So I was thinking, maybe he'd like me to check in on her, Maybe he'd like me to stop by the house and ask her if she's lonely and how everything is. I was trying to help. He took it completely the wrong way, and now everything between us is weird. So now Dana's, oh, well, we're going to settle this with some kind of, and Dana's got this new grappling thing. He's like, well, we're going to have you guys fight, but there's nothing says that you can't grapple. And I get, Dana, please, don't make the audience look at that man with a shirt on. Like, if you've done that to us before, we put our time in. Maybe if you have like a rash guard situation or a singlet, but don't do, and not the beating that I would give Daniel. Don't do that to the audience. They don't deserve that.
Yeah, so it was quite a twist then for him to actually be going opposite of you, I'm sure. I mean, was there any hesitation till you've done this thing twice before? A third time? What's up with that? You're not getting tired of the whole concept?
Done it twice successfully, by the way.
Yes, of course.
The only coach, and I believe this to be a 100% literal, but I'd have to check because there might be a guy that can tie this. I am the only coach to not only win this program, I have won this program twice. And of those 2 times, there was 3 weight classes contested. I won each of the weight classes. So I feel like I've won this thing 3 times, but they only give me credit for 2. And I say that because it's not about the coaches, Drake. It's presented that way.
Right.
And it's like for right now, I've got to come out and do the media because the athletes can't, but that's because the athletes are a surprise, right? So like the only thing you have is the coach. It is not about the coach at all. This is straight up. I came through the Olympics. I came through the NCAA, which is a meat grinder. 5 guys in 3 days with 3 weigh-ins between it. This is the toughest tournament in sport. I have never witnessed anything like this. You could not get a Shaquille O'Neal or a Tom Brady to even consider riding to the venue in the same vehicle as their opponent. You could not get them to agree or even consider to getting into whatever your sport is. But you find it out, you have a winner, you have a loser, getting back into that same vehicle together, riding back to a house where you're going to sleep near each other. And in between, you're going to sit down at the same table to have dinner because it's the only table you can have dinner at. The grueling process mentally, the mental battle, like when Dana White asked that famous question, do you want to be a fighter? It's not everybody that wins the Ultimate Fighter, my brother. It's anyone that wins the Ultimate Fighter for me. To be a veteran means you start on day 1 and you don't quit. You make it all the way through. You don't come up with an injury or an owie or some reason you got to leave the house or I miss my mom, which are all very normal things to do. Right. I'm just sharing with you. These guys that do not do that, that are to be a true veteran of the Ultimate Fighter, you means you got to start it and you got to complete it, regardless of outcome within the tournament. I will look at you differently because I have seen it, and I will tell you, it makes people worse. It pulls teams apart. I came up with the great Team Quest. Nothing destroyed Team Quest, and we had our leadership ended up suing each other. I mean, we had a lot of ugly things that happened. Nothing destroyed Team Quest more than the Ultimate Fighter. And we had our hooks into this thing from day 1 because Randy was the first ever coach.
Right.
So Team Quest has always had a very good standing, very good job of being able to get guys in and get them opportunities. I've never had a teammate, save none, no exception, that went on the Ultimate Fighter and remained my teammate. 100% of them had some leech latch onto them and tell, oh, now that you're a big TV star, you got to be managed this way, and you got to be training this way, and you got to be living in Las Vegas. Whatever it was, 100% of my teammates fell for it. The only possible exception is Ed Herman, but Ed Herman left for 7 years. He ended up coming back, but he left for 7 years. The Ultimate Fighter does that to you. It will drive you crazy. I mean, it will literally drive you to this point where you kind of become somebody else. It is one of the most fascinating social experiments out there. And you don't get a lot of social experiments because they cost too much. They're too hard to actually create. So like I majored in sociology. We have very few actual experiments that we can point to. This is what the Ultimate Fighter is. It is not a reality show. The reality is we turn it into a show. This is a documentation of the only straight line bracket we have in combat sports, with the exception of the Olympic Games every 4 years. Everything else, I have seen guys, Drake, and it disgusts me. I have seen undeserving, no, this really does bother me.
Okay.
I have seen undeserving people talk their way into title shots and talk it into fame and fortune. Guys that didn't even belong there. They didn't do it. They didn't do it here the hard way. They grabbed a microphone and they hit some special sound that would come out of their voice. There is none of that in the Ultimate Fighter. You could be the biggest star like Kimbo Slice. You could be an absolute pay-per-view draw like TJ Dillashaw. You could be the toughest opponent that GSP ever had, according to GSP, like Josh Koscheck. You were guaranteed nothing here. You have to take it on your own.
Yeah, well said, man. Well said. And from the coaching perspective,
they don't get credit for that. It's just not billed that way. It's billed, and they do such a good job of showing the physical side. Like 90% of the show is you're showing a guy train, and then you see some of that weight cutting process, which usually is left out. That's kind of a treat with the ultimate fight. You kind of get to see what those guys go through, and then you see the fight, and it's like, wow, how hard. And you're right, but that fight you're seeing over 12 weeks happened in 30 days.
Right.
Somebody beat 3 men in 30 days, plus the fight to get in the house. Somebody made weight 3 times, plus the time to get into the house. All the greats go down somewhere. Even Khabib has lost twice. And they don't talk about it, but he lost twice to the scale. The scale beat Khabib twice. It's just a hard thing to do, and it's something that gets left out of the sport. Khabib, when he failed, and I bring Khabib because it's a name that you'll recognize and celebrate, and I do too. But I'm just bringing for you, as perfect as he was, he got beat by the scale twice. He's asked to weigh in 3 times a year. These guys got to weigh in 3 times in 30 days. There's no dietitian with them. There's none of their special things. They're sitting in a house. They're grinding out in the gym. I mean, the Ultimate Fighter is the ultimate sport. You want to know who a badass is? You want Dana White's question answered, who really wants to be a fighter? Go through the Ultimate Fighter. If you go through that, you don't have to win. I'm saying if you go through that, you have answered the boss's question. You want to be a fighter.
I mean, it's a very difficult tournament the whole way it's set up, man. But I'm fascinated though, Chael, from your perspective.
Wait. Well, Drake, I'm sorry. What is this word that you just used? A tournament? What did you just say?
I said tournament, yes.
Are you trying to say tournament?
Tournament. Am I pronouncing it wrong? Have I been wrong?
You're saying a tournament.
Tournament.
What are you saying?
The challenge, the Ultimate Fighter.
Yes, the competition.
Yes.
Daniel Cormier. It's pronounced Cormier.
Cormier.
Yeah.
I've heard of this guy.
He was a fighter, man. This guy deserves to be known. You got to look him up. This is a long time ago, but you should know who. He was good, man. He was good with the double legs. He pushed in the fence and he could. This is the guy that beat Pat Cummings, for goodness sakes. I can't believe you just dismissed him like that, Drake.
I mean, you're the star of the show every time, Chael. So, I mean.
I know.
I know. What do you expect?
Do you know the name Craig Borsari?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Craig just might secretly be a genius. He might literally be a genius. But could you imagine the work that he and his editing team are going to have to go through to get around the fact that Daniel's there? Like you got to bring him in so that you can have me do a TV show. But you cut him and you edit it just right so that it doesn't look like Daniel's there. Could you imagine what Craig and the team are going to have to go through? And why do they call it why are they saying DC versus Sonnen? Why don't they just say the Chael Sonnen show?
Exactly.
It's not like this is the first time I've had to carry DC through a television program. It's not as though this isn't something that I'm used to doing. I got a show with him right now on ESPN called The Bad Guy and the Other Guy.
Oh,
and
yes.
It's just fun. We kind of edit, we kind of cut him out, and then I do a show and.
He just announces you, really, right?
It's nothing personal. Yeah.
Has it been?
Great. Did you hear a minute ago when I said I would go check on his old lady? Did you hear me say that? See, that's a dick move. That's unnecessary.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, though, right?
I don't do that because I have to, Drake. I do that by choice. I do it by choice. I can buy any item I want. I can sleep with anyone I want, and I can beat up any man that tries to stop me from doing either of those things. They always want to ask me, Chael, what are you going to do? I'm going to do what I damn well please, Drake. That is what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. We see it every time, and that's why you're the gangster, my man. But I want to ask you, though, Chael.
Wait, Drake, is this interesting? Do you see the shot?
I see it.
Is this interesting?
Going through the kitchen?
Is something happening right now?
They're spinning.
Is this something for the viewers? I'm in a chair that swivels. Look at this. Oh, my God. That's my hat. Look. Oh, my God. I'm getting dizzy.
Careful now.
Look, don't look over there. That might be Daniel Cormier's wife. All right. That was that. Okay, now
we're crossing lines. We are crossing lines.
Can I ask you a question? Will you answer it honestly?
Okay, absolutely.
Because we actually are friends. We have each other's number.
Yes.
We're actually friends. Like if I never did MMA again and you never did, we would still have our thing. But let me ask you a personal question. I don't want this to be weird. I want your permission first. May I?
Chael, of course, anything for you.
Are you wearing pants?
Yes, I promise. Not shorts, not pants. Shorts, but yes.
Shorts doesn't count.
Doesn't count?
Shorts
Okay.
does not count. You're hiding that. You put on a nice top. Look at you got the jewelry. This thing is very well ironed. You probably had it dry cleaned with your fancy schmancy salary you're on. Probably had somebody bring it to your house. You wanted the audience to believe that you were dressed but you're not. You're wearing shorts.
Yep.
I had it right. Can you believe that I would call that? What an amazing thing to call. Sometimes when I look at how right, I've never been wrong. I was only wrong one time. Well, it turned out I was right. I thought that I was wrong. That's the part that I had wrong. It's almost like God with the 7 billion people on earth. It's almost like he has identified and chosen that he likes me the most. Sometimes it really does feel like that.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, good call. You just did I give it away that blatantly, or is that's just all the Sonnen magic there? Okay, all right.
Oh no, that's just me. No, nobody will know. No, nobody will know. Nobody will know. And you didn't stand up and show us, which means I know that you're just in your underwear. But I'll move on. I'll drop it.
I'll let you know.
Here, by the way, don't call PR and go, Chael made me uncomfortable. You said I could ask.
Chael,
I was just wondering.
Come on, no, never, my man.
Well, don't be a dick and make a whole thing about this, okay, Griggs?
All right, Chael, I know that we got things screwed up here, so I don't want to keep you too much longer, my friend. But before I do let you go, you're not fighting DC, right? So that's, not the plan right now. Maybe you'll beat him up during the show and whatnot. But does it make it easier going against somebody coaching-wise, not getting prepared to fight them? Because you did that the last 2 times, so I'm sure the coaching part is a task in its own right. Plus, getting ready for your own fight.
Let me go? Are you under the impression that you are keeping me here? Are you under the impression that I'm here against my will, or that you're the A side of this conversation? Let me go. What an interesting, that was a real alpha move by you. That was a real attempt. Now it's gotten fluttered because I called it out. That's what a real alpha was. Let me go. I like that, Drake. I'm going to take that. I like that. Okay. Right. Here's the thing. You asked me about, coaching Daniel, who I do. I'm trying to help the guy, right? I'm trying to help him to not have to take his shirt off on TV. I'm trying to help for people to know that it's Daniel Cormier. I'm out here trying to serve this guy. And it was different with Wanderlei Silva. I did not care for Wanderlei Silva. When I dealt with Wanderlei, there was a couple of things that were hard, starting with the language barrier. We had interpreters on both sides, and then ultimately they even subtitled it. Like, the communication was hard. Where that becomes a trick is I think that Wanderlei speaks better English than Daniel. Like, Daniel's the one that shortened his name to DC. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's because of other people. I'm not positive he got a form somewhere and he had to fill it out, and he was looking for the A in Cormier, but it turned out to be R. I think the dum-dum shortened his name because it's the only way he can spell it. That's what I think. And I'm not calling him dumb. He's a friend of mine. What I'm saying is that if Stupid had a cousin, okay, it would be Daniel. Okay. But that's I don't judge you for this is a nice person. This is a good guy. But not a thinker. He's not a thinker, right. This guy. He's from Lafayette, all right? Mm. By way of Oklahoma, and then by choice, Gilroy. If you could live anywhere you want, you were rich. You could live anywhere. Could you imagine setting up shop in Gilroy, California?
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
What a joke.
West Lynn's right there. I mean, come on.
West Lynn is God's country. West Lynn is proof. That is undeniable proof that there is a higher power. There is no other way to explain such a wonderful city as West Lynn. And it's dirty out here, and it's tough, and the streets stay clean because of me. I keep the streets clean. Nobody steps out of line unless it goes through me. That's the truth.
Are we still
the most powerful man? The most powerful. Oregon, they got a king. Okay, they think there is a king. Believe me when I tell you, and it may not be on the ballot, but the king is Chael Sonnen.
Is the king still planning to try and box Masvidal? What's going on with that?
No, I think that Masvidal backed down, and I don't say that from the typical fighter standpoint. There was some real wind behind the idea of me and Masvidal, and I ended up boxing with Anderson Silva, and I never did an interview, including with you, where I did not bring up George Masvidal. I parlayed it. I helped him and served him, even though I do not like him. He got ready to fight Nate Diaz. And we were on the cusp. I mean, I'm in the back. All he has to do is say my name. I got the cameras, everything. He never says my name. The cameras never come on. Nobody even knew I was there. And to interpret that any other way, then he backed down. He changed his mind, which is fine. I was going to change it. I was going to change it the easy way or the hard way. Either way, I was going to change his mind about thinking that was a good idea. I accept it. I accept it, and I don't see a problem with it. If you don't want to fight me, I don't want to fight you either.
Yeah, probably got lucky in that one. So he's trying to fight in the UFC still, but I guess we'll see how that works out. Any thoughts on the GFL, Chael? Have you been keeping up with that whole thing?
I have, and I prefer to be negative. Like that makes me happy. I prefer to be a critic. You know, I kind of like to break things down. Maybe it could be a movie or a meal or a fight promotion. I like to point out. I like to push their face in it, like the puppy that missed the paper. And you want to know something? On their rollout, where they did that little piece they had for social media where Tyron Woodley, and he came in, he was like this superhero. It was pretty badass. From a production standpoint, from trying to find something as simplistic as martial arts and grab names that people already have a level of expectation with, but to separate yourself and make you look different. I thought they pulled it off. It pains me to say, because I would love to just, I thought for what they've done, which is very small so far, they're off to a good start.
Okay. All right. You don't mind the AI? I'm going to tell you, honestly, I thought it was awful. I'm going to tell you, Chael.
Oh, I told my buddy Joe, Joe, we call him the Godfather. Mm-hmm. He said the same thing. He thought it was corny, but I thought I thought it popped. I thought it looked good. I sent it to people. I'm like, look at this. Look at what they've done with Tyron. I sent it to Tyron. Congrats. I really did think they pulled it off. Okay. I did. For that. You got to understand, they're brand new and they're just starting. They got this hell of a roster. And it's such a difficult game. Like, if there's any business you're going to go into that takes balls, it's this one. Because every business is tough. But you are more likely than not to fail in this space. Everybody does. It is a hard thing to break into. I've seen announcers come in that are very good. Our fan base will bury them. They'll go to the underground forum and try to get these guys kicked out. Like breaking into this space is hard. 2 guys ever have come over to MMA and then been welcomed on day one. Jeff Novinsky, for whatever reason, and Mick Maynard, for whatever reason. Everybody, those 2 guys, for everyone loved them on day one. Everyone else, Drake, and you know this, man, it is a hard space to break into.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see how they do. I am not at all optimistic, but I like that you are. So,
Tough, man. It's a tough road to hoe. My prediction on, where do the financials look from a few years from now? It could be different. Sharing with you for what little they've done in a way of making themselves look different and cool. That's what I'm bearing this. But I think it's a pass, man. I thought they did it.
All right. Well, on that note, Chael.
What do you got? Some axe to grind? I mean, you're not accepting my positive response. I'm like a disappointment. Picture this, okay? Picture this. GFL. We got Tyron Woodley. Mm-hmm. We got Shogun coaching somebody. We got Vandalay there. We're going to find Tyron's opponent, possibly Luke Rockhold. Cage side, calling the fights. The great Drake Riggs, joined by Chael Sonnen. Picture that. We're in our nice suits. Somebody's brought us a coffee. We're getting ready to sit down and call this fight. Tyron's about to walk. Luke Rockhold's already in the ring. There you and I are calling the action. Now tell me that you still don't like the idea.
Well, I mean, I didn't think we were going to be involved. So now that you're bringing up this idea, that's different. That's a different story, Chael. I'm excluding us from the equation.
But wouldn't that be cool? Hey, the GFL's brand new. Let's put our pitch in right now. Nobody else has put a pitch in for it. Let's you and I do it right now. Drake and I will call the first event. It's a 2-man duo, though. Like, they can't call you and you cut me. If they call me, I don't get to cut you. We're making a deal. It's you and I. We call the event. Drake, we would do a great job.
Yeah, I agree. We're throwing ideas out there. I'm sure they'll want to recruit you though, Chael. Do they hit you up to fight?
Now you do understand if they call me, I will cut you out in a second. But I don't want to. I'm just but if it happens to you, you
Wow.
gotta bring. I mean, you understand how this deal works, right?
Yeah.
You can't like really fully trust a gangster, but you know, you can try. Did they call me? Yes, they did.
Of course.
And in hindsight, maybe I should have said yes. There was signing bonuses. But there's a point, Drake, where it's weird. Like there's a point where fighting is really cool, and your buddies will look at you like you're cool, and you go to the coffee shop, they look at you like you're. There's a point where it's weird, and I've seen some guys, and I won't name them, that are 40, that are 41, that fought, and I remember thinking, put your clothes on. You're taking your shirt off. You're putting a mouthpiece in. You got no problem with this guy. Like, at some point, it's weird. And that's the reason I said no. I was just thinking, man, to see somebody, whether you're the greatest of all time or not, which I am, at some point, it's weird. I had the same problem with amateur wrestling. I love to do it. But the age group where most guys were wrestling kind of ended around 24 to 27. So when I was 35, I'm still in my prime. I'm fighting for world championships in the UFC. I was embarrassed to show up to a wrestling tournament and put the singlet on. Like, there was just a point where you got to stop.